All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? So, for those of us just got done watching the Bow Wow versus Soldier Boy versus battle, and it really wasn't so much as a versus battle. And I do want to talk a bit here and really give my memorable thoughts back when Bow Wow came out and Soldier Boy came out, and leading up to my thoughts when it came to the versus battle. Now I'm 31 years of age, and Soldier Boy is about 29, 30 years old. Bow Wow is about maybe 3 years, 2 years older than I am. So he's about 34, 35 years old, if I remember correctly. And I want to let's go ahead and clarify because there's a lot that I really did forget about. So let's start off with Bow Wow, right? You know, let me go ahead and put some in here. Oh, wow. So, yeah, Bow Wow's 34 years of age. He was born 1987. 1987, right? Now, the first time a lot of us were exposed to Bow Wow, and if I remember correctly, right? If I remember correctly, because I'm putting this in on Google right now as I'm looking at this. Now, his first album was released September 26th, the year 2000. His debut song when he came out, and again, if I'm remembering correctly here, because I was definitely in elementary school at that time, that I do know for certain. And I was a grade behind because I did get held back because of learning problems, learning disabilities. But if I remember correctly, his first debut song when he did actually come out was 1999. Because when he did drop Beware the Dog in the year 2000, Bow Wow was the first rapper to add a video game, a PC video game, to his album. Because I remember playing that game, and it was Bow Wow on a scooter that you had to push with your feet, and you were jumping ramps and dodging different things. And my special ed teacher at the time, she was a fan of Bow Wow. She had that game installed on the computer, and we did play that. So that I remember. Now, a lot of people don't remember that. A lot of people may not remember that, but I do. I specifically remember that. Now, what the fuck is a damn? Are people lighting fireworks? Never mind. If you guys hear popping in the background, I think it's people lighting fireworks. But anywho, Beware the Dog had Bounce With Me. Now, I don't see. Okay, they don't have a good majority of his albums put in order. Now, of course, they had Doggy Bag that came out in 2001. I don't remember that album so good. I don't think a lot of us really checked it out. In 2003, Unleashed. That I remember. I think that was during the Like Mike movie as well. And around 2005, you had Wanted. And this is when we really saw Bow Wow grow up. I was supposed to be in the 7th grade in 2005, but I was in the 6th grade when I went in middle school. So you had Wanted. And I remember, Wanted, he was going on tour at the time because he was a headliner for 50 Cent during the Massacre tour back then as well. Then you had Face Off in 2007. And then he did take a bit of break with New Jack City 2 when he came back in 2009. Now, 2009, I was getting out of high school. Yes, I was getting out of high school. Now, he did drop obviously a lot of mixtapes during that. Bow Wow paved the way, or the one of the last. For a lot of the younger people that see this, man, you go like, man, this dude's an old head. He's remembering too much. Hey, man, I'm 31 years old. He's 34. But Bow Wow was one of the originators from the South. Even though he was born in Ohio, but he was raised really down south his entire life. He was one of the originator creators of the younger hip hop fashion back then to bring that East Coast style down here to the South, which I'm glad he did because, if it wasn't for him bringing the jerseys and the do-rags down here, we wouldn't have had that back then. Because a lot of people wanted to wear jerseys because of Bow Wow. Yes, and he even brought the denim fits down here to the South during that time. So I do remember that he was original creator of that. And yes, he was also the first actual entertainer, the first rapper to go on YouTube back when him and Soulja Boy was trying to do a tour, and they did try to do a collaboration album, but it's obviously they bumped heads, and I really forgot why they bumped heads for. But yeah, Bow Wow really did pave the way for Soulja Boy. Bow Wow paved the way when it came to dancing for a lot of people at the time my age, because back then in the early 2000s, man, you had a lot of the breakdance movies coming out, and a little bit before the breakdance movies coming out, I was a dancer, as a kid, a street performer, breakdancer, in the talent shows of that as well. And Bow Wow really brought a lot of that competition because he inspired pretty much like the movie You Got Served, for example. So he originated some good stuff. Now, granted, yes, Bow Wow, sadly, when it comes to child entertainment, when you grow up, yes, a lot of your mainstream audiences are going to grow out of you. They're going to go to something new. That's how it is with child entertainers. And on top of that, Bow Wow got a really screwed up deals in the end when he got older. And I don't think Jermaine Dupri made it that much better for him. Even though, Bow Wow loves Jermaine Dupri till this day, and they tied certain ends at the end, and Bow Wow's always gonna rap so deaf, but he grew from that. He may not be back in his heyday anymore, where he was in music, because he's doing a lot of television. He done a lot of movies. He expanded from that. And Bow Wow's performance, man, that's how you do a performance, because he's more properly groomed, more experienced. Really brought what you're supposed to do during a versus and a battle to begin with. Some of the best. They only had 3 good examples of that. You had Snoop Dogg, DMX. You had Redman and Method Man, and then you had Bow Wow for that. They really brought that, and I really enjoyed that. I hope maybe one day, and I don't think it's gonna happen unless the money's right, but we all wanted the Game and 50 Cent battle. Them two, especially the Game, really comes from, and 50 Cent as well, really came from the West Coast and East Coast battle of music. If that day ever happens where they go on verses, that's how it's really gonna clash, man. It's really gonna bring that super raw energy, because the 2000s, man, from 2000 to 2005, the first 5 years, man, was really the last decade of good music, good fashion, the last bit of going out there and grinding grinding for your music as an artist, really trying to come up, the last era of gangster music. And just good fun, good, good fundamental music, good snap music, and that's one thing what the ATL was really known for back then, was for the snap music. They were not meant. First, I'm just gonna verify this. Chicago, a lot of people, man. If anybody from Chicago sees this video, I'm not gonna have to do a separate video for Chicago, man, because Chicago, especially in the Chirac area, they have a lot of people stealing from them, biting from them, because first of all, trap music, 808 sound did not start and come from Atlanta down south. It started from Chicago. Okay, down south for Atlanta, music is pretty much known for its snap, fundamental music, its dance music. That's what it's known for. That's what it's known for. From these past decade that just passed, from 2010, right? Not even 2010, no, 2011 until 2021 of this year. From the past 10 years, from the past decade, Atlanta really did steal and bite off of that Chicago sound of theirs. That's why Chicago had to switch their sound to drill music, to that drill sound, which reminds me a lot of screamo music. And the drill music, the drill screamo music, it's not really meant for me at all. That's them. But again, people from Chicago, they're getting a lot of their stuff stole from them again, because now a lot of people are copying off the drill sound. So Chicago, within the last 10 years, really influenced today's generation. Really did influence today's generation of artists that have been coming up. Now, I can't name all of them, and again, for today's rap music, it's not for me. I don't understand it too well. I'm not into really the mumble rap, or the guys really wearing makeup with painted nails. That's not where I come from. I come from the 80s, 90s, and from definitely the early 2000s. But, Bow Wow really did a lot of inspirational things, man. And he really brought his A game tonight. Now, when we get into Soulja Boy, Soulja Boy came out, and you know what? Let me look this up. How old is Soulja Boy, first of all? So I have my other phone right here too, because I want to make sure I get this right. Soulja Boy is 30 years old. He's born in 1990. Soulja Boy, just by seeing that, this is what makes it sad, because unfortunately, Soulja Boy about my age. He came up on the same music I came up, man. From that 80s hip hop, late 80s gangster rap, 90s gangsters rap, and from 2000 to 2005, the last 5 years, the last generation, every 5 years there's a generation gap. That's why I say generation of that last gangster era. And then you had 2006 from 2010 to where you saw the shift and change in music so dramatically that what was once there, you could see it was really going away. And Soulja Boy, around that time, if I remember correctly, yeah, what year? Because it says 2007, but I want to see what year his first album came out, because I'm trying to backtrack. Okay, Soulja Boy Tellin' came out in 2007. So in 2007, I was just getting out of middle school, going into high school, if I remember correctly. He came out during the last little tiny bit of era of snap dance music, when it was dying out. And that really sucks, man, because if he would have came out maybe several years before 2007, he really would have had a more better successful career at that time. But Soulja Boy, and the reason why Soulja Boy, you know, in one way is a tragic story is because his deal to the label he was signed at, and I forget the damn label he was signed to. And then there were a big label at the time too, man. It's I have it on the tip of my tongue, and I have their image up here. Highland Park, that's it. Highland Park. I think if you ask me, man, they really gave Soulja Boy a raw deal. I don't feel like Soulja Boy really needed them after seeing him perform tonight, man. But at the same time, I really got to get into this with Soulja Boy talk. Soulja Boy, he was the last person to really represent that baggy clothes era, which I do love. I still got most of mine put in storage too. And when he came out, now that I remember, I was in freshman year when he did come out. I was like, when he came out, he came off a little bit too cocky and a little bit just somebody who just didn't like people from it looked like with his first music video, Crank That. And from the vibe that I got from Soulja Boy, right, I got the vibe of this kid grew up having to fight in the streets and happened to get by, happened to struggle. Like, you could just tell, because he had that fresh baby-faced look, this attitude, I just don't want to be around or talking to people. And he started to loose up, man, once he got out from his environment. Once he got out from his environment to where he was at in Atlanta. And people may have felt like if he were to come out rapping gangster-like, people wouldn't have took him seriously. I feel like that's why he done that snap music, why he done the dance music, and he tried to keep that alive. You know, unfortunately, when I Soldier came out, and with Birdwalk, that is what ended his career. That song, and a lot of people did not like it. That song was not well received to a lot of people. I didn't care for it. It was really a lot of repeat. And the last real major hit that he truly had that was really supposed to follow up after Birdwalk, and it was supposed to overwrite that song. But Highland Park said, man, we gotta drop you. And they lowballed him because his highest song that was really most so streamed than ever on MySpace back then. And he was the really first person to use MySpace to get him noticed, to get him out here. You know, the only second person to really actually do that, or the first person to do that and to use the internet to their advantage like that, was Chamillionaire. So Soulja Boy and Chamillionaire, they used the technology that was available back then to get their music out there. That's how those cats really blew up and got notified, and they don't get a lot of credit for that. And they truly don't. But, you know, Soulja Boy's last real hit song, unfortunately, that was never truly put out, it was called Zooted. And Zooted, I really enjoyed that song. Because I was really trying to root for Soulja Boy, man, after his first album. Because I do got Soulja Boy pants. And I remember, because yeah, I was a battle rapper before I truly got into recording music 9 years ago as an underground artist. I had these black, let me see if I can find a reputation of them somewhere. I had a black pair of sunglasses just like these, right? And I can't remember if I had a whiteout pen, but I think I had like a white gel marker at that time. And On one lens I put Jazzy, on the other lens I put Cheddar, ChEDDER, and a lot of people were really trying to clown Soulja Boy for that back then. I was like, that's actually pretty damn fly. So I pretty much copied him, doing the same thing, but I put my own shit on there, not his. And I was really feeling the rubber band necklace, right? And I had these bags of the thick multicolored rubber bands, and I put them into a necklace. And I wish I still had it. I don't know what happened to it, but the shirt I wore with it was really fly, and I was killed in my own way with that, man. Because again, a lot of young kids that probably may see this video understand something. The fashion back then, it was baggy. You had the heavy design T-shirts. They were really comfortable clothes to wear, but they were expensive. And for those that are curious, man, I'm going to try to remember to leave an end screen link video talking about the many styles that I had growing up. And I talk about, and I know this is going to be a little bit off topic, but the fashions from the early 2000s, from 2000 2005, it caused a lot of problems. It did. It caused a lot of BS violence involved. So a lot of those fashions back then didn't last long. Not like what y'all think it did. But those sunglasses, I think I gave them away to this one girl. I'm not gonna say her name. I don't know if she still has them, but she liked them, and she always loved to hear me freestyle. And I know a lot of people did. So there's that. And after that, nobody really heard from Soulja Boy anymore. You know? And I feel like if Soulja Boy was to come out and comfortable with himself, I think a lot of people would have took him seriously. I think he probably would have had a better successful career. And he tried to redo his career back when he teamed up with 50 Cent for a song, Mean Mug, and him and 50 Cent was supposed to do a collaboration mixtape or a collaboration album, but for some reason, it just did not go through. It didn't go through, and a lot of people just didn't take Soulja Boy so seriously then. And I think that was either back in 2012 or sometime in 2011, if I do remember correctly, with that happening. And I liked Mean Mug. I really did enjoy Mean Mug. But after about that, that was really it. Then you have Soulja Boy, not looking too good, not really looking too healthy at the time. And a lot of people's like, man, he's looking like MJ from Thriller. When you have a lot of yes people, a lot of yes men around you, that's what happens. And I wish he still had A-Rab with him, because A-Rab made a lot of money with Soulja Boy, especially as his hype man, and A-Rab went about his own way. I don't think there's no bad blood between those two, but I feel like if A-Rab would have stayed, Soulja Boy would have had a steady head. He would have thought more clearly about things, and I feel like A-Rab definitely would have helped him out even more with his career, and made sure, Soulja just didn't get himself in these frenzies that we always see him in on social media and losing it. And I do believe that Soulja Boy is going through a midlife crisis right now, man. I really believe he is, because he doesn't know where he stands at, and he's really trying to be a part of today's younger generation. And I think he's trying a bit too hard when he should just be comfortable with himself. And I feel like he should cut off a lot of people that he doesn't need, because then this is where we get into just a part, man, where I can say this: what Soulja Boy has really started and what he didn't start. I'm gonna get into what he just didn't start. One, Soulja Boy was a second rapper, and this is gonna be a mixed bag, so I really don't know how I'm gonna put this. Soulja Boy was the second rapper to have the highest selling ringtones. The first rapper was Chamillionaire with Ride and Dirty at that time, especially with Turn It Up, which was the first single, his first debut to the TV mass back then. You know, Soulja Boy was the second rapper, or the third rapper, I should say. He was actually the third rapper to have a video game out, but he was the second rapper to have a PC video game out. And it was for free online, and you could play it off his website. And he teased a little bit of that during the song "Yeah." Yes, with the little animated Soulja Boy and Arab and all that. That was based off a video game for a PC. Entertainment wise, right? With entertainers who came out with video games, first you had Michael Jackson that came out with Moonwalker. And then in 95, you had Prince that came out with a PC game. And then in 2000, you had Bow Wow. And then in 2005, you had 50 Cent with Bulletproof. And then in 2007, or 2008, I should say, you had Soulja Boy with his PC game that was online on his website. Now, a lot of people's going to be, what about Def Jam? What about Def Jam? I'm not going to count Def Jam. Def Jam is just full of rappers, so it's not really based off one in particular person. And Soulja Boy came out during the end of the era of the PS2 era at that. I do consider him, for the most part, the first rapper to be on YouTube, but not to start YouTube. Him and Bow Wow were the first two rappers to really vlog, to really work, to do their own editing on YouTube when they went on tour together, because no other rapper was doing that. So you did have that. You did have that. Soulja Boy is a pioneer of crank music from that era of the mid 2000s, from the late mid 2000s, of that crank era, of that dance era. He paved the way for that. He did. He's one of the pioneers, man. He's one of the pioneers for that. Soulja Boy, on the sad end, he looked out for way too many people, what caused him to go into bad financial. Was Soulja Boy the first person to put out a video game with consoles? No. Matter of fact, one of the consoles that he's been talking about, which we all see, and there are many different names for them. They're systems, and I have one. It's called a Data Frog. It has 330, I think it has 360 games on there. And they're older games from the older consoles from the 80s and 90s, mainly from the arcade machine era, the Nintendo, the early Game Boy colored games, or the Game Boy Advance back then, the Sega Genesis. And the only thing Soulja Boy really did was he reached out to a certain brand company, even at the time where the AirPods, the wireless Bluetooth AirPods were coming out, and just made a deal and said, okay, I just want to put my image and my name to this to help promote it. That's really it. He didn't start those things. He made the money that he made from that, and they moved on. And they're not the best quality, because they are pretty decent prices. I bought that Data Frog that looks like a PS4, but it's like really compact, small, where you can put it in a cargo pants pocket, and it's black and red, and it's actually pretty nice. Actually, it's maybe a little bit cheaply made, but it has some good games on there that I remember playing back then. And I got it for like $100, so that's not a bad price offline. I got mine's off eBay. But after that, Soulja Boy just had a really hard time really trying to follow up with his career. He did get a lot of backlash from the gaming industry. It's like, yeah, you didn't make this, you just slapped your name on it, and you're trying to steal something and make credit for something that you didn't make. And that is true. And Soulja Boy took offense to that. Soulja Boy took offense to that. And with his performance, for him, with his energy, it was poor and it was low. That's not his fault. He hasn't had much exposure with performances. I remember back in 2008, man, or 2007, I think it was Christmas of 2007, there was a club called Club Diesel down here where I stay at, and another club called the Juice Bar up in Nashville. Soulja Boy was booked for 2 shows those nights. Um, Friday was supposed to be at the Diesel, and I stay right behind the old Diesel club where it used to be the Diesel. Now it's like a fish restaurant. And I still have that flyer. I got like 3 of them put away in storage. I do have 3 of the original flyers I'm about to talk about put away in storage. And this was during, MySpace days. And this part right here is getting a little bit hard for me to talk about, because what I'm about to share I think, the highlight of just how screwed up Soulja Boy's management was. Soulja Boy, unfortunately, is known as a scammer. There's a reason why people won't work with him like that. Soulja Boy pretty much ran off with the front pay from the Diesel and Juice Bar. The night when he was supposed to perform at the Diesel, a lot of crowds showed up because there were flyers put out in a place called High Fashion, a place called the Sound Shop, where you could buy CDs, music, and even advertised for the Juice Bar, up in Nashville. There were flyers put all around town where I stayed at. Again, I got like 3 to 4 of those flyers put away in storage. And the advertisement for the digital flyers were on the Club Diesel and the Juice Bar MySpace page at the time. And a lot of people were excited. You were reading comments, you were seeing likes go up. And Soulja Boy ran off with the money, and he never showed up to perform. And because of a lot of those reasons, he was facing so many legal reasons after that, and years leading up after all that as well. Because he was running off and scamming out of money, from promotions and shows. He was, and that's because of his messed up management. He didn't have the best team behind him. And I think Soulja Boy is trying to really figure himself out, man. Because he's really trying to advertise himself for the newer generation. He wants to be a part of it. I feel, though, as if with his antics, he came out during the wrong time. If he were to come out with today's rappers, I think he would do well. I think he would do better. Because this generation, man, it's about putting out fast music, microwave, fast food music, and doing antics. I feel like he would have had a much more successful career if he would have came out in today's time, within these past 4 going into 5 years. I really do feel that way. Because when he's on stage tonight, his energy was low, his performance level was low. He was playing the same song 3 times, 2 times with other people's verses. He barely even had any of his own songs playing tonight. That's when you realize that Soulja Boy doesn't have a lot of songs out. He doesn't have a lot of hit singles. And that's because of his fucked up management, man. Yes, with him being free from all that, he tried to rebuild after that, trying to put out, music after that, but wasn't hitting. He did bring out, Little Romeo for this. He brought out his best friend, one of his best friends, DJ Academics. And I think Soulja Boy may really realize something tonight, man. With a lot of things, because you could tell a lot of moments with him not really caring about performing, like really reflecting on a lot of his choices with the years that he's been out. And he gave props to Bow Wow. Bow Wow influenced Soulja Boy. But I'm gonna give this part. I'm finna give the highlight, and then it's on a good note with Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy influence, if you ask me, a lot of today's rappers. A lot of today's rappers within these past 5 years of the mumble rap era, he influenced a lot of them. He influenced the Migos. He influenced the little babies, the little Yachties, the little Dirks, the Chief Keefs. He influenced a lot of the babies that are out. He influenced a lot of the little pumps. He influenced, don't laugh at me for this, he influenced a lot of the 6ix9ines that are trying to come out. He influenced a lot of the Tory Lanez and Megas and Stallions, if you ask me. He influenced, oh man, there's just so many of today's new age rappers come out, but he influenced quite a few of them. He influenced today's generation in these past 5 years. He did. He influenced them, man, because with today's younger rappers that's been out for the past 4 years, going on 5 years, is even the little Uzi Verts. That's another one. The Kodak Blacks, the 21 Savages. You know, Soulja Boy paved the way for them. He influenced them. He probably doesn't even know that, because a lot of the rappers that I name, they're artists for their time. Like, they're in their young 20s, right? Except for the Migos. The Migos, believe it or not, actually 29 and 30. Yeah, they're just trying to play off some shit, but whatever. But you know, their influencers are Soulja Boy and Lil Wayne. And Soulja Boy even influenced Drake. Now, I'm not a fan of Drake. I do believe Drake is a culture vulture for many different reasons, but he did influence Drake. Lil Wayne and Soulja Boy paved the way for today's rappers, and they influenced them. He influenced them. He influenced them. You know, Soulja Boy did really start a way for rappers to use social media to their advantage to get out. And he doesn't get that credit. He was the last artist to really try to hold on to that era of snap dance music. He was. He influenced a lot of today's artists that I name. He paved the way for them. But unfortunately, because of his team behind him throughout them years before he went about his own way, they weren't looking out for him. They were looking out for themselves. And I do believe, from what I heard tonight, with a lot of Nicki verses, with several Nicki songs that a lot of us probably never heard, I think Nicki Minaj definitely owes Soulja Boy a lot of credit. Something tells me that Soulja Boy is behind a lot of Nicki's songs, a couple of her albums, the Beam Me Up Scotty mixtape, some other little verses coming out here and there. I think Soulja Boy was involved in a lot with Nicki's career behind closed doors. Maybe more than what we realize. And if that's the case, Nicki Minaj needs to owe Soulja Boy so much gratitude and credit. Because something tells me, man, I have this weird feeling that he is behind her career. A full success of her career. Now, I'm not the biggest Nicki Minaj fan or really listener of her music, but after tonight, I think Soulja Boy is really trying to tell us something, man. If you go back and you watch the Soulja Boy performance parts when he was playing Nicki stuff and saying how he made certain beats, something really tells me that he is behind the success of Nicki Minaj. And I think Nicki knows that. And I don't think she really wants to give him that gratitude of appreciation and credit. I hope, for her sake, that he paid him very good. I really do. And he might also be behind a couple other people's careers. I believe he also had really something to do with a famous Dex career as well. So, with that being said, these are, you know, my thoughts and what with the Bow Wow Soulja Boy performance of really giving some back history and giving credit where credit is due. I'm sorry that this video is about almost half an hour long. So with that being said, I'm out. Peace.